Okay, so it just hit me when I was reading the letter hacks that this is the last issue of The Walking Dead we're getting this year. That just dawned on me, and I was like, oh yeah, crap. But don't forget, we're getting 2 issues in February. With that said, in January we're getting the conclusion of the Whisperer War. Now, they did say in the previous issue that they're doing something that's unpleasant they haven't done in a while, and I'm assuming it now means the destruction of one of the communities, because nobody died this issue. Now, I do think that's going to change next issue, because it's looking like it's lined up to have an attack take place primarily now at Alexandria and with Dwight and their group, with Maggie and them coming back, discovering the outcome of whatever happens there. We'll get into that in the mini prediction video we'll do next. But as far as this issue was fantastic. Primarily dealt with the Hilltop, and we have Lydia making her choice, a choice she can't come back from. It wouldn't even make sense if she did, but her choice, she's sticking with the survivors 100%, and she's going to fight and fight to the death. So we now know that if Lydia does survive, she has found her place among the survivors. She might not know, or might not want, or might not be capable of having that type of, exclusive, intimate relationship with Carl. She needs some growth yet. She does need to settle into this new environment. I'm sure it's kind of like culture shock at the moment with her, but she definitely prefers this over being randomly raped in her old, encampment. I mean, come on. So she's definitely giving all she got to fight for these people, which was awesome. Now, we have seen Sophia, assuming this is a whisper that she shot, Sophia having her first human kill that I remember, quickly looking back. But this is really awesome because we get Lydia kicking ass, we have Sophia kicking ass, we have that very epic image now. And if you're one of those fans that likes to buy the original art, somebody gotta get that shit with Maggie. I don't know the website where you go to buy that, but I'm sure if you look up Charlie Adler, someone gotta get that one with Maggie. I know they cost a few $100s, and then some of the big spreads are like $1,200, $1,400. It's a bit pricey, but I tell you what, I've never been more tempted in my life to get my hands on the original artwork as I am for that image right there with the hilltop burning, Maggie standing there saying, "Yay, we won." Man, that's such a badass image. That and this one here, now that I'm out of the guided viewing, I can go back and look at the issue. And this is, that looks like it would be a double page spread here where you have all the action going on, but you have the top half with the hilltop burning. That is amazing. You get some really awesome spreads here because you get the one with Lydia beforehand, same idea. You got one line of panels, and then you got the Lydia kicking ass with the hilltop destruction in the background, and then a few pages later you get the same thing with the double panel lines going, the grid, and then you get the hilltop burning. You get that one full page of Maggie. So much awesomeness, and the story feels so dense and tight because they have that panel grid where there's just so much going on. After we see the destruction at the hilltop, and I'll be honest, I thought the people at the hilltop were going to have to make a run for it. I thought the Whisperers were going to take them out, but it's becoming more clear that at first I thought the Whisperers kept losing. Like, they're going into battle with the people at Alexandria, the soldiers there, and they lost. So they send a group to hilltop. But it's starting to look like Beta's plan is to actually send a few Whisperers in, a few Whisperers that he's making the decision that most of them are probably going to die. So it looks like now, after the hilltop battle, we know they send some Whisperers in, a few of them die, they have the battle rage, but then they let the flow of the walkers behind them take over. We've seen it in this clearly. They said, oh, there's no more Whisperers, I guess they're all dead, yada yada yada. So you are utilizing your force to lead the Whisperer army full of walkers into the battlefield. A few of them die, whatever, and then the walkers are left to either wear down, use up their ammo, take over, destroy, separate, distract, make it a cluster. I mean, you can utilize those walkers for a number of dangerous outcomes, and it looked like they did that on the battlefield with the people at Alexandria. Now in their encampment, you have the woman with her arm cut off. They're beaten, exhausted. You have all this going on. A few of them are dead, so their numbers are touched, Then at the hilltop, You have the whole community destroyed. You have people wounded because of the fire, smoke inhalation. You got people dead because of the battle raging on. And you have your initial forces. We don't know how many yet, but your initial forces are dead. But then you leave the walkers in there to wear them down even more. Now the hilltop is destroyed. And even though they technically won right in that aspect, they have to walk miles. It's going to take, half a day to get all those people, maybe even almost a day to get those people, and it's nighttime, so they'll definitely get there by the afternoon of the following day to Alexandria. So they're out of commission right now. So now whatever backup army or herd that they have, the Whisperers have, they're going to lead that army into Alexandria, which is fantastic. We see this epic revelation. We get that revelation that Beta's not done yet. He has another army he's sending into Alexandria. Connie got bit. It looks like she got bit off panel, or else I forget from the previous issue. I might have just forgotten that. But we get this nice page altercation here with Dwight and Negan, where Dwight is like, man, I'm disgusted at you. What the hell? This person's losing a limb, and you're just crying over a baseball bat. I would have preferred if Negan didn't say, you don't understand. I'll be honest with you, I think that was the only weak spot in a fantastic issue. You don't really need him saying that, because we as readers get it, We just need Negan to say that. You don't get it, Dwight. You don't get it. Just that. That's it. We're reading the backstory. We know what's going on. With that said, that is literally the smallest complaint you can have with this issue. Other than that, I fucking loved it. I didn't think they would do a whole fire scene, and I really do like the visuals with Carl getting trapped in there. I thought they were actually going to push the envelope, and they might burn his ass up a little bit. Not kill him, but burn him again. I thought they're just going to keep maiming this dude and making him just into a monster, both on the inside and on the out. But with that said, a lot of people like to pick on Carl and act like he is a monster without a soul. And I've talked about this before, even with his admission to Maggie, that he knows how this works. He lost his shit, but these people are bad kids. The kids he beat up with a shovel in the stat and third, they needed a crack upside the head, a good crack. And I agree, they were going to kill Sophia, or at least they made it seem. And I live in a world in my mind where even if you make that threat, whether you're saying it to scare the person or not, you need to be stopped, even if it means, kill you. Same thing with Carl. They made it seem like they were going to kill Sophia, so I don't see him as a psycho. He goes back into the burning building, and he even admits to Maggie, which I think is a powerful statement for that character, because Carl is like the president's son, you know what I mean? So he has this celebrity importance to him. As far as his value as a leader or a member in the community, it's not that high, but it shouldn't be. He's still a kid yet. He needs to grow into that position, but he is growing in a big way, in a good way. His value is constantly on the rise, and he could definitely be a leader later on. Being Rick Grimes' son, kind of inflates his value a little bit in other people's eyes, like Maggie's eyes. But for Carl, he sees Maggie as a very competent leader that they need. His father needs a leader like that to help him with these other communities. And especially with this community now destroyed, she's more important now than she's ever been. And I think that is so awesome. And you can pull so much from just Carl saying that one statement, you're more important. We have Rick and Andrea talking, and again, every time they have the Rick and Andrea heart-to-heart moments in the recent issues, I am starting to worry more and more about Andrea. Now, as far as with Rick, it just doesn't feel like it's his time. It feels like that's a stumbling block the comic might not get over right away. With every issue, we are getting closer and closer to the death of Rick Grimes. However, I feel like it's a good 40 issues at the minimum away. It just feels like that in the story. It feels like they need that center still. And I know without that, you can spin some interesting story, but I just feel like this is not the time to mess around with that. So that being the case, either Andrea or Michonne, one of them I'm really scared for. I'm really scared for a main character dying. I think Maggie's taken out of the running since they had that good win at the hilltop. We've already seen the covers. We'll get into that more, but let's end this on the cliffhanger. The Sherry, I believe in Rick Grimes. This was awesome. She believes in him, his competence in winning the war, which is epic. So this lets us know that this war isn't over. Holy shit, as soon as we're done with the Whisperer War, the people at the Sanctuary plan on just going and mopping them up, you know what I mean? Which leads us to, what the fuck is next? Because it won't be a war, it'll be them being enslaved again. Are they, is Sherry planning on leading, an execution squad? Are they going to, what's their plans? Or do they want to restore what Negan had established? Negan's out. Maybe this is Negan's main contribution. Negan brought in the Saviors into the lives of Rick Grimes and them. Maybe Negan is here to put an end to the Saviors once and for all. I mean, that would be a cool twist. With that said, I love this cliffhanger. I love this issue. I have been saying The New Beginning is one of my all-time favorite story arcs. Everything after that has been the most interesting story for me as a reader. I just feel like the story is so rich, and I think this is some of the best story. Now, with that said, I do believe the beginning of the world of The Walking Dead is set up very different. It's chaotic, it's all over the place, and that's on purpose because these are people who had normal lives. The world fell down. They were scattered to the wind, so to speak, So we needed a story that resembled them being scattered. They're all over the place, finding somewhere to somewhere safe and secure to rest their head, and maybe even start over in this new cold world. And now that they have a place to start over, they had all those other story elements happen, and now we're in the new beginning where this is a community, this is the restart of civilization, and I just feel like the story here is richer, absolutely. So if you're not reading the comics, if you do watch these reviews to kind of stay in the loop and see what's going on in the comics, I urge you, go and read it. Get the compendium. You'll get compendium 1, 48 issues. It's going to be chaotic and all over the place. That's not similar to the story that we're getting now. The story that we're getting now feels so much more involved. There's so much more going on. You'll hear about something and you won't get the payoff until 20 issues down the line. In the beginning, you might get the setup and the payoff just an issue or two apart. Bottom line, though, you just got to go and read it because it's a fantastic story. And if you don't want to catch up, just stop right at the end of the second compendium. Sure, 2 compendiums, that's 97 issues, roughly, no, 96 issues, and you'll be good to go. So, thoughts and opinions about issue 161, put those down in the comment box. I'm done blabbing. It's your turn. Subscribe now.